Imagine waking up one morning to find a notification on your phone. You unlock it, and your eyes widen. An investment you made, perhaps in a tech stock, a cryptocurrency, or a speculative venture, has skyrocketed. The number on the screen is life-changing. You feel a rush of euphoria, a sense of invincibility. You are a genius. You have won the game. Now imagine the opposite. You wake up, check the same screen, and see red. A market crash, geopolitical crisis, a scandal. 50% of your net worth has evaporated overnight. The number on the screen makes your stomach churn. You feel a cold wave of panic, a sense of doom. You are a fool, you have lost the game. These two scenarios, sudden wealth and sudden ruin, seem like opposites. But psychologists and neuroscientists tell us that to the human brain, they are remarkably similar. Both are forms of wealth shock. Both trigger a massive release of neurotransmitters that hijack our rational decision-making. Whether you're popping champagne or panic selling, you are no longer in control, you are reacting. You have become a puppet, and the market is pulling the strings. In a world of high-frequency trading and 24-hour news cycles, asset volatility is the new normal. But our biological hardware is not built for this. We are built for linear progression, not exponential spikes and crashes. So, how do we survive the roller coaster? How do we anchor our souls when the numbers on the screen are screaming? To find the answer, we must step away from the ticker tape and consult the masters of stability. Let us sit with the four greatest sages, Buddha, Socrates, Confucius, and Jesus, and ask them how to handle the storm of fortune. Let's begin with the Buddha. He offers the most critical tool for volatility, the concept of anicca, or impermanence. When we see our assets double, our ego instantly attaches to that new number. We say, I am now worth this much. We normalize the high. And when it drops, we feel we have lost something that was essentially just digital dust. The Buddha would tell us the story of the farmer who lost his horse. When the horse ran away, neighbors said, bad luck. The farmer said, maybe. When the horse returned with wild horses, neighbors said, good luck. The farmer said, maybe. The Buddha teaches us that the market is a flowing river, not a solid rock. To cling to a high price is like trying to grab water with your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more you suffer. The correct mindset for both gain and loss is detachment. It is not apathy. It is the realization that this too shall pass. When you look at your portfolio, visualize it as clouds passing through the sky. You are the sky. The clouds, whether dark storm clouds of loss or bright fluffy clouds of gain, are not you. They are just weather. Next, we turn to Socrates. If Buddha handles the emotion, Socrates handles the identity. Sudden wealth often brings hubris, arrogance. Sudden loss brings shame. Both are errors of identity. We tend to conflate our net worth with our self-worth. Socrates would ask you a piercing question. If all your gold were taken away tomorrow, what would remain? If the answer is nothing, then you are poor even when you are rich. Socrates teaches that true wealth is the condition of the soul, your wisdom, your integrity, your capacity for reason. When the market crashes, the Socratic practitioner does not panic. They conduct an audit of their inner assets. Do I still have my health? Do I still have my mind? Do I still have my skills? If the answer is yes, then the loss is merely external. It is an expensive tuition fee for a lesson in resilience. Socrates reminds us that money is a tool we use, not a mirror we look into to see who we are. Now we need structure. For this, we turn to Confucius. Confucius lived in chaotic times and emphasized Li ritual and propriety. He believed that the superior man, Zhongzi, is steady. He is not easily flushed with excitement, nor easily broken by despair. Confucius would warn us about the dangers of sudden wealth syndrome. When people get rich quickly, they often lose their discipline. They buy things they don't need, disrespect old friends, and lose their daily routine. This is a lack of lei. Confucius teaches that when your assets increase, your humility must increase with them. You must build a structure to contain the energy of money. Conversely, in times of loss, Confucius teaches dignity. You do not wail in the streets. You maintain your role as a father, a leader, a citizen. You stick to your routine. You wake up, you make your bed, you do your work. The stability of your daily actions becomes the anchor that prevents the financial storm from washing you away. Structure is the antidote to chaos. Finally, we look to the teachings of Jesus. He fundamentally reframes our relationship with assets through the concept of stewardship. In the parable of the rich fool, a man builds bigger barns to store his surplus, thinking he has secured his life. But that very night, his soul is required of him. Jesus asks, "Where is your treasure? For there your heart will be also." If your heart is entirely in the stock market, your emotional state will be as volatile as a graph. Jesus teaches that we are not owners of our wealth. We are managers or stewards. The money has been entrusted to us for a purpose to care for our families, to help the poor, to create value. When you view yourself as a steward, the pressure changes. If the master gives you more talents, money, you don't get arrogant. You feel a sense of responsibility to manage it well. If the market takes it away, you don't feel a personal identity crisis. You simply adjust your management strategy for the remaining resources. You serve a higher purpose than just the accumulation of numbers. You cannot serve both God and mammon, money. You must choose your master. So, how do we synthesize this ancient wisdom into a modern execution plan? How do we act when the notification bell rings tomorrow? First, apply the Buddhist pause. Whether you're up 50% or down 50%, do nothing for 48 hours. Freeze. Let the dopamine or cortisol leave your system. Observe the feeling of greed or fear without acting on it. Remember, it is just weather. Second, use the Socratic separation. Look at the number on the screen and say out loud, "This is a number. I am a person. This number does not define my value." Separate your ego from your equity. Third, build a Confucian system. Create rules before the volatility happens. If this stock drops 20%, I will sell. If it rises 30%, I will rebalance. When the storm hits, do not rely on your feelings. Rely on your rules. Stick to the ritual. And fourth, adopt the Jesus perspective. Ask yourself, how does this change affect my true purpose? If you gain money, how can you use it to serve? If you lost money, what spiritual lesson can you gain? Shift your focus from having to being and serving. The market is a great humbler. It will test every weakness in your character. It will expose your greed, your fear, and your insecurity. But if you are prepared, if you are armed with these ancient mindsets, the volatility becomes a forge. The fire of the market will burn away the impurities, the arrogance, the attachment, the false identity, and leave behind something solid. Something that cannot be devalued by inflation or crashed by a recession. It will leave behind a character of gold. Do not let the ticker tape dictate your happiness. Be the mountain that stands still while the storms rage around it. Be the observer. Be the steward. And in that stillness, you will find a wealth that no market can ever take away.